Hey guys, welcome back to another reloading video. For the 6.8 Western, we are going to be testing a new bullet and some new powder. Powder we're going to be using is H1000. This has been the powder that I've wanted to test for a very long time. When I first started reloading for 6.8 Western, back when COVID hit, like it was very hard to find reloading components, and I could not find H1000. And so that's why I settled on H40-831 shortcut, and it's worked really well for me. But finally, I was able to acquire some H1000 from a local gun store, and I wanted to give it a go. It has a much slower burn rate than the H40-831 shortcut, so this should allow for more case fill, and we should be able to see some better velocities. So that's the theory anyway, and I wanted to try. The bullet we're going to pair that with is going to be the Nosler Accubond long range. 165 grain. They have a very generous claim of a minimum performance feet per second of 1300, meaning that minimum threshold is 1300 feet per second to still get reliable expansion out of the bullet. So that's pretty exciting. That should put us out past 1,000 yards, depending on like what velocities we get with this powder, but that should put us out past 1,000 yards for good reliable expansion with the bullet. And also for anybody wondering, I'll be using Winchester brass, primed, ready to go. Okay, hopping into my plan of what I've got going on, I've already found jam for the bullet, and that is represented by these numbers here. So at jam, my overall length is 3.005 inches, and the base to ogive is 2.406 inches. I'm going to target my overall length of 2.948. That is because I'm working out of a magazine. My rifle is magazine fed, and the overall length of the internal dimensions of the magazine is 2.950. So I'm going to back that off a couple thousandths to make sure I have reliable feeding. Diving into what I'm going to be using for powder. For my powder charge weight, Hodgdon's calls for a max charge weight of 60.8 grains. Following a few comments from the guys that have used this powder with this bullet, it sounds like 59.5 grains on up to 62 grains seems to be the general window that people have been reloading this in, with 62 grains being kind of the max that I've seen with getting pressure signs. So we're just going to keep that under it. My rifle, everybody's rifle is a little different, so we'll see if I see any pressure signs at 61.5 grains, but to keep it conservative, we'll just back it off that 62 grains by half a grain, and then we'll bump up to 60 grains for the starting charge weights. I realize that this is the upper end of what Hodgdon's recommends. So like I mentioned in any other video, just go by what the published data represents, because every rifle's different. I don't want to give you guys false information. You guys run out, load your cartridge up to what I'm getting out of my rifle for the powder charge, and then you guys hurt yourself or hurt your rifle. So definitely reload at your own caution, but definitely follow what's published, just because every rifle is a little different. So with that being said, this is our targeted charge weights at one seating depth. So I'll load up 5 rounds for each powder charge, and that should give us enough information for just to get an overall idea of how well they're going to group, what their velocities are going to look like, and their extreme spread and standard deviations. All right, I've got these seated up to where they will fit my magazine, and we've got a base to ogive of 2.345 and an overall length of 2.947 is what it came out to be. So that gives us a bullet jump of, if you subtract our jam from our legitimate base to ogive, would be 61 thousandths of jump. All right, I've got all these powder charges thrown. As you can see, I actually went and bought a new powder dispenser. My Lyman Gen 6 actually kind of took a shit on me right after I filmed the first portion of the video. And it's kind of been on the fritz for a little while regarding it. The scale was drifting, and so it just wasn't giving me the most reliable readings. So I went out and we're trying out the Frankfurt Arsenal IntelliDropper. So far it's been pretty good. I like the feature. It has a lot more features on it than the Lyman Gen 6 had, for a little less of a price tag. Okay, here we are all loaded up. 60 grains on up to 61 and a half grains. At that 61 and a half grain mark, we have a little bit of powder movement in there, but a really nice full case capacity. Let's see what their concentricity numbers are. All right, I'll take just a few samples here. So we've got 1,000 at around. $1,000. About a 1,000. And that's about a 1,000. So just a quick sample of those. Everything, the concentricity numbers look really good. So I'm happy with that. All right, you guys, that is the initial setup that I've got going on how I want to approach with the bullet and powder. The next video will be at the range. I don't know if I'll be able to get out later this week since it's Thanksgiving. If I don't, you guys have a great Thanksgiving. But the next video will be out on the range, getting some numbers at 100 yards with this. If the H1000 doesn't work, I do have my backup, my go-to powder, the H4831 shortcut. So if we can't get the H1000 to work, I've got plenty of other bullets or more of the Accubonds that we can test out a different powder as well. And if that powder doesn't work, I've got one more powder, the Mag Pro. So I was originally going to do the Mag Pro, but I ran into H1000 and I'm like, I got to at least try it. I just got to pick up a pound of it and at least have it on hand so that way I can use it for other testing videos or use it in the future for a different cartridge. So thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Have a great week. And if I don't see you over Thanksgiving, you guys have a good Thanksgiving with your family. And I hope you guys are successful in your late fall hunting activities. Catch you on the next one.